Welcome to the Intuitive Rising podcast. I'm your host, Amy Brooks. This is a podcast that invites you to remember who you are, return to yourself, and rise into your highest and best soul self. Every week, I will be sharing inspiring conversations about topics that hold keys to your awakening. My mission as an international evidential psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, and intuitive mentor is to help you rise into who you were born to be. Enjoy the show. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of the Intuitive Rising podcast. I am your host, Amy Brooks, and we are here today to welcome June of 2024, if you can believe it. Here we are. Seems nutso to me that we're already, approaching the 6th month of the year. And we are here today to see what the 6th month of 2024 wants to bring in for us. What does it feel like? So as always, we're going to take messages from the tarot, an oracle deck, and a soul's journey lesson card. And then we'll tap into a number, a color, and an animal that wants to bring through messages for us as well. So are you ready? Here we go. Just quickly, I want to say happy summer solstice because I know that's happening in the month of June and I am so excited. The summer solstice and the winter solstice are my favorite days of the whole year, especially the winter solstice. There feels like there's magic in the air for me. And that has been my favorite day of the year for as long as I can remember. Probably since childhood, but in memory, at least in my adult life. And I never really clued in as to why until I started to, walk down the path of self-discovery and self-awareness and the magic of the universe and the spiritual realm and all of those things, and realize, the solstices are quite magical days, and the equinoxes. Those are very, very interesting, powerful, magical days for those in the know. So when we do approach the summer solstice this year, I do hope you do something for yourself that feels magical, whether that's, staying outside and watching the sunset. I don't know, picking some flowers out of your garden, going for a swim, doing some sort of self-discovery activity like doing a tarot spread or a meditative kind of thing. Whatever it is you want to do, I hope you do something to mark the magic of the season. So I'm going to dive in. Often I pull these cards before the session. Today I heard from my own higher self, nope, pull live on the podcast. So we're going to do that. I am just giving the Light Seers Tarot a good old shuffle, and I've got one that wants to come out right there. Oh, interesting. Okay. So let's just go with it. I'm going to reveal this to you right now, and then I'll move on and shuffle the oracle and so forth. So for the month of June 2024, what is this kind of overarching theme from the tarot for us? What are we being asked to lean into, to unwrap is what I just heard. Interesting. To contemplate. Well, we've got the Devil card come in. So the Devil, just like the Death card in tarot, is vastly misunderstood. There's a lot of misinformation or fear kind of around these cards because we take them very, very literally. But both of those cards that I've mentioned, the Devil and the Death card, are actually quite transformational and powerful energies, and very encouraging and healing, actually. So let's tap into the Devil card here. The Devil, what's coming through for me based on what I do know already about this card and what wants to come through in the moment. The Devil is really asking us this week or this month, not this week, this month of June 2024, to focus on the things that are keeping us chained, is what I hear. What are your vices? What are the things that you use as an excuse to keep you in a place of unalignment maybe? So examples of vices could be social media, right? It could be doing the doom scrolling versus actually doing something that we want or need to do. We're almost in a place of fight or flight. We're in freeze mode when we do this sometimes. And it's okay to do that. It's certainly okay to scroll. There's no judgments coming through with the devil card whatsoever. It's more about being aware or paying attention to the things that you find yourself doing that may be a distraction from something that you actually need to do. Procrastination, right? What's the root of procrastination? Perfectionism. Actually, it's wanting to do something perfect, being afraid of failure, and so therefore being in that place of freeze where it's like, okay, I'm just going to stay in it because I'm afraid it won't be perfect, therefore I'm just going to procrastinate doing it. That's one reason for procrastination. But really, what are the things that are keeping you small or hid or in an unaligned mindset or in an unaligned opportunity in your life experience? What are the things that are keeping you chained? So that's your contemplation this month from the tarot. Seems to be, I keep hearing extremes. So it feels like we may find ourselves in a place of extremes or duality this month where we are really leaning into that escapism, to that procrastination, where we are trying to avoid everything that needs to be done without consciously maybe even being aware of the fact that we're doing that. So there's a level of extremism to that. There's no balance. Or maybe, we're just constantly inundated with examples or awareness of crap. Like there's a lot of things that are unaligned with me right now. What my head is telling me is not what my heart is telling me, right? Last week's episode was a lot about the law of attraction and emotional grid filling. If you haven't caught that, I definitely would listen to it because I feel like it will be helpful to navigate into June and kind of figuring out, how to align the head and the heart or our thoughts with our emotions. And so, yeah, a little bit more for you to contemplate there this month. So there we go. There's our tarot, the good old devil card. It's always in our highest and best good when the devil comes through. It's always saying, hey, on the other side of this is actually freedom, whether it's emotional freedom, freedom within the mindset, right? Freedom to take action with something or take a leap on something that you had previously held yourself back from doing or been so afraid to do. And then you find once you do it, it's like, whoa, what was I so afraid of? This is fantastic. So yeah, that feels like some things that we're working with in June. And then we've got this big magical day of June 21st, the solstice, as I had already mentioned, where I feel is a day of it's funny because it's a day where things are not quite in balance because given the longest day of the year, meaning that we have the most sunlight of the year. But it feels like, despite that, it feels like it is the ultimate day of balance or reset. So I definitely want you to make a do of the summer solstice this year, even if it's just time spent in contemplation or thinking about things. Okay, reflection feels like a very magical day. I just got goosebumps as I said that. Okay, so now I'm going to the oracle card for this month. I've already pulled it. I was shuffling as I was speaking there, and it's from the Earthcraft Oracle, which is an absolutely magical oracle deck that I feel like is quite embodied and very steeped in kind of like body wisdom, if that makes sense. And so I love, love the card that we pulled today. I'm going to try to interpret it as best I can without going to the guidebook, and then I'll refer to the guidebook if needed. It's card number 22, which I love. It's a great nod. In this moment, I feel like I want to double check what day the summer solstice is this year because I want to see. Let's see. It's the 20th. Okay. It's the 20th at 4:50 p.m. Eastern, by the way. I just saw. Just wondering if it fell on the 22nd this year, because I know that dates can fluctuate. So I learned that when we did an episode on the winter solstice. It's not always on the 21st of December. It varies based on, in a certain kind of 3-day timeline, I think. So I was just wondering, oh, is the summer solstice on the 22nd? Because that would be super cool. But no, June 20th. But we have card 2022. And 22 is a special number for me. You guys will know this if you're longtime listeners. 22 is my card of alignment. If I am looking for a sign from the universe that I am aligned, I see a 22. And so this card says rise. And just off the bat, I absolutely see some connection here with our message from the devil card, even given some of the imagery here. So if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see the card. If not, if you're listening to the audio, I will describe it for a brief moment. There's the shape of a woman, and she has looks like she has her eyes closed and her arms out, almost like in a gives an impression of surrendering. And then all around her are orange, red, and yellow flames. And then it looks like there's a big ball of sun behind her, but also at each of her hands, behind each of her hands. So there's this feeling when I think of the sun. It's funny because we're talking about the longest day of the year here coming up. We're in the summer months now that we're here in June. A lot of sun, hopefully, and warm weather. But the sun reminds me of solar, and therefore the solar plexus. And that is really about will. It's about determination. It's about feeling driven, right? The solar plexus, the sun is kind of gives you that feeling where you want to get going. You want to do stuff. So I feel like this goes so perfectly with what the message of the devil was doing. The devil is asking you, okay, you feel this fire. You feel this rush of energy. You feel like you want to do something. So let's do it. But before we do it, let's figure out why we haven't been doing it. What's been holding you back? Why are you procrastinating? Why are you avoiding? What's the real root under that? It's time to rise. This card, if I haven't mentioned, card number 22, says rise on it. Okay, so it's time to rise. So you, again, with this kind of feeling of maybe really needing to find balance between doing and being, between the head and the heart, between taking action and then taking a moment to sit and even know what we need to take action with. We need to find balance with all that. And it's really funny because earlier today, I woke up with a thought and I wrote it down on my paper in front of me. And what I wrote down was to contemplate, to think more about this aspect of pushing and pulling, doing and being, surrendering, flowing, taking action, delegating, as I like to say, right? All of these things have been on the forefront of my mind today. And that makes sense because that's the energy that we're entering in for this beautiful month of June. I'm going to quickly go to the guidebook in case there's anything in here that I feel would help us. So, interesting. Card number 22. I said that 22 is my sign of alignment. And it says in the guidebook, this is a card of realignment. And self-development. You're ready to charge ahead, so stop doubting yourself. You know what you want and need. The only thing missing now is for you to stand up and reach for it. After all you've been through, it is safe for you to share yourself with the world again. The right people are waiting for you to rise, and greet them with an open heart. This card is auspicious for those who are looking for love and friendships, whether new. So this says new love and friendships, but I will also add a little bit to that, tweak the message a little bit. It also feels like if you're wanting to add something new into your existing relationships. So I love this. I love this. And there's some guidance here around breath work and the importance of breath work with this card. So that may be something that you do on the summer solstice this year. It says this breath work ignites the power you hold and opens your mind's eye, bringing you a sense of knowing and reminding you of your purpose. Start by releasing all of the air from your chest and hold your breath for 4 seconds. Then inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 4 seconds and then exhale for 4 seconds. Repeat this for 3 minutes. And as you hold your breath for the last time, ask your higher self to open you up to divinity, to come into your presence and guide you down your divine path. Thank you very much, or Earthcraft Oracle. That was a lovely message, so aligned with the energy that was coming through with the tarot. Moving forward to the Soul's Journey lesson cards. Let's see what the umbrella lesson is, the overarching, what's the root of everything that we're kind of learning right now when it comes to our rise, our remembrance, into, who we are becoming and who we're leaving behind, and the awareness of who we're leaving behind. I love it. And I love it because the card is matching the shirt I wear in this moment. It says peace, peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. So I just quickly want to talk about this for a moment. So we're looking for more peace in our existence, in our being, in our body. If we're running to extremes, if we're living in this kind of roller coaster of emotions and ups and downs, yes, ups and downs are part of the lived human experience, and we don't want to spiritually bypass ourselves and think that everything should be hunky-dory all the time, because that's not what we signed up for here, folks. However, challenges, how I feel about challenges are, the challenges are, if we could just reframe how we think about a challenge or a perceived quote unquote quote failure, and we looked at that instead of, okay, that was an opportunity for me to learn what was not aligned with me, or what I don't want, or what I don't need, or what's not in my best good, versus I've done something wrong, I'm a failure. This keeps us more in this avoidance place, right? And maybe this is directly connected to one of you, when we're talking about the devil card, and the message that came through is like, where's your mindset, right? What's your mind telling you? How have you been holding yourself back, and what's the root? Maybe it has to do with this. But ultimately, just like I brought through with this day of summer solstice, and overall for the month of June, we are looking for more balance, right? We're not looking to never have a negative emotion. We're looking to be able to like deal with a negative emotion. We're looking for the tools that will bring us back into a place of equilibrium versus, kind of being all over the place, chaos. I kind of see this swirling energy, right? So there's a potential where there's a lot of mindset work that needs to be done in June. And I keep hearing, like, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Anything that's showing up that feels a bit chaotic or feels a bit extreme may be reflective of your own internal space right now. So if you feel a little bit all over the place, then it would be natural that your environment might reflect that back to you. So it's just really asking you, like card number 22 with rise, to rise up, right? To kind of grab the bull by its horns. And in this case, it would be self-awareness. Self-awareness is the bull in this one. It's like, okay, I have the self-awareness that just because something doesn't work out for me does not mean I failed. Remember, redirection is direction. Or I have this emotion, I have this experience to reflect what it is that I need to bring more balance into. So I think that's really beautiful. All of those cards absolutely align. We're looking for more peace. Peace, peace, peace. Let's make peace our focus, our goal, our root for the month of June, and especially focus on a feeling of peace on the summer solstice. And what does peace mean for you? There's some homework for you. Maybe sit down and do some automated writing and ask your higher self, what does living a peaceful existence mean for me? It's going to be different for everybody. We might have some common core similarities, but ultimately might be quite different. All of the angel numbers today, I saw 1111 on my recording timestamp just a little bit ago, and now it's 12:12 p.m. So I love that. We've got some numbers coming in for us, 1111 and 1212. Now I'm just going to take a moment and see about, I feel like starting with an animal this week. So let's see. Oh my goodness. Right away, I have an animal in my mind's eye. So, what animal messenger? What does this animal messenger have to say to us? Do you know what animal I have in my mind? An antelope. An antelope. I'm like, what? I know an antelope is something maybe in the deer family. I don't know, but I'm going to take a moment. I might be totally off base there, but I feel like it's of similar size as a deer. I am going to take a moment and just see kind of what the medicine from the antelope wants to bring in. And then maybe what I'll do is I will add in the show notes if there's any more further kind of symbology or messages from the antelope when I give it a Google. I won't do that on the podcast today. I'll just see what comes in from the antelope. Okay, the antelope is very much. I do wonder if an antelope is kind of like a mountain dwelling animal, because what I'm seeing is a mountain, and I'm seeing mountain goats as well. So I feel like an antelope probably climbs mountains or lives, in high kind of elements and environment. Okay. And it's funny because as soon as I tap into the energy of the antelope, I almost feel a bit scattered. I almost feel like I can't find my words, or I feel a little bit like all over the place. And maybe this animal brings in a feeling of where we might be, the energy that we might find reflected in our environment, whether it's like from us personally or the people that we interact with. Other people might feel, oh, I just got big goosebumps, huge. So maybe the people in our environment are going to be kind of scattered, or, the person in the drive-thru, or the person at the grocery mart, or the car in front of you, and you're going to be like, oh my God, what is this person doing? Take a deep breath. What is this trying to teach you? Peace. Is that feeling? Is that feeling of frustration or like impatience, or oh my God, like hurry the heck up as the guy in front of you counts out his nickels, Um, is that keeping you from feeling a sense of peace? Contemplation for you. Yeah, I think it is. So it feels like, be mindful of like the energy, the kind of erratic, staticky, kind of all over the place, scattered energy from others, because I keep hearing like you're going to be capable of amplifying in a big way energy. So if people around you are reflecting to you like that what you do not want, then please be in the moment, be mindful of like I need to remind myself that I'm in charge of my own energy and my own mindset, and I'm not going to get caught away in this, and I'm just going to take a few deep breaths. Maybe that's where the breath work comes from or comes in. Okay, so just remind yourself of that. Try not to lose yourself in the moment. Reminder to respond versus react. Taking a few deep breaths when you feel emotionally charged is, speaking from personal experience, is so, so, so empowering, because it allows you actually feel more in control. Sometimes you feel like you want to react to something that's annoying you or, pissing you off. And you feel, oh, like I'm just gonna spew this back on you. But that actually disempowers you in the end. It's a level of like not being in control. We think maybe it allows us to be in control, but it actually does the opposite. So remind yourself to take a few deep breaths if you feel emotionally charged about something this month. Okay, try to respond and not react, because what will happen is I feel like that will give you a great sense of clarity and more perspective, and you'll be like, oh, this is not even worth my time. Like, this is somebody else's chaotic energy, and I don't need to amplify it myself. I don't need to mirror that back. Okay, thank you, antelope. And so that feels like one of the things that's very connected to that devil card of what is keeping you from climbing that mountain? What is keeping you from those lofty, great heights of your goals, of where you want to be, of your dreams and aspirations, of what you're working on right now? What's keeping you from that, from great height? In this moment, I have the song by Postal Service, Great Heights, coming in. So maybe nod if anybody's into that kind of like music. That I used to listen to that so much when I was in my early 20s. Anyways, give it a Google if you want to listen to that song. Yeah, that feels right. So that's what the antelope is bringing through. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of distractedness, a little bit of like reaction, but it actually wants to climb the mountain. It wants to succeed. It wants to accelerate. So be careful of amplifying. All right, there we go. Speaking of the word accelerate, I feel in this moment, I want to share something with you. So earlier today, I was chatting to a new friend, also a podcast listener. That's how we were introduced, I think, or in a roundabout way, somehow like that. Through my work, we were introduced. And her name is Jen. So shout out to Jen. We were chatting, and I meant to say accelerate as I was chatting to her. And I wrote, or what I actually ended up saying was accelerate. So it was like excitement and accelerate together is what came out of me. And I actually thought, I think that's actually perfect, because it really kind of brings a feeling of that which makes you excited, or when you can tap into an excited kind of curious, joyful energy, it accelerates the process, right? So that's our word. That's a new word that we're making up. Accelerate. I love it. Okay, so that's our animal. Let's see what our number is. Right away, I see a 3. Okay, so again, I'm just going to tap into it intuitively versus looking up what it means. If there's anything noteworthy after I do that, when I'm done recording, I will include it in the show notes. Okay, number 3. I feel massive kind of creative energy that comes through with 3 for us this month. And I also keep hearing transform. So there's this level of transformation and change coming in. I just heard as the wind blows. So it's this interesting like push and pull, as I brought up earlier, of like doing and being and doing and being and doing and being. And if we can find balance with the doing and being, if we can accelerate, it feels like change will happen and transformation is at our fingertips. So it feels like there's a lot of transformational work that can be done this month simply by finding balance within our emotions, within our mindsets, and within just kind of what we're doing. But it's very, very much based in like empowering yourself around how you react in situations or how you respond in situations. Can you be in a stressful environment, or can you be around a negative kind of person? Can you be short on time or frustrated or feeling impatience? And can you still remain you in those moments? Can you take a few deep breaths? Can you work with your tools that you have, your intuitive and your spiritual tools, and keeps yourself grounded? And kind of, it's like I'm seeing, like in those like old like country and western movies of days gone by, where you just see this big ball of like, I don't even know what it was, like hay or something, a big dust bunny, like a massive one made of like hay and sticks and stuff, just kind of rolling down an empty street. It's like, that's what I'm seeing, is like, as the wind blows, I'm going to remain grounded. I'm going to remain in control, even if the storms are blowing. All right, so we've got that. And for a color, I'm seeing specifically sky blue. So sky blue, lovely shade. Blue definitely gives a feeling of serenity, of calm and peace. This is why we see a lot of blue used in kind of healing places like hospitals and counseling and spas. A really nice light blue comes in for us. I want you to visualize that when you kind of maybe need to check out for a minute, right? Or like remind yourself to breathe. Picture that beautiful, calming blue color. Water, connection here, would be a good idea to work with the element of water this month, whether that is swimming or dipping your toes in the water or what. It just feels like water is something that wants to be utilized and leaned on, worked with this month. And the sky connection here, I feel like what I'm hearing is like when you're laying on the ground, and just showing me like someone laying on the ground and just looking at the sky. And, often we hear about, or we have experienced, like laying on the ground, and especially if the sky, a starry night where we're looking up and we're just like, wow, like we're so tiny. This world is so big. This universe is so big, and we're just little specks. And it's a way to almost make you feel more grounded. Like, is this thing that I'm worried about, or is this thing that is going on right now that's upsetting me really significant in the grand scheme of things? No, you know, that kind of is what this is all about. And it just feels like getting outside, whether it's like doing some cloud watching or just reminding yourself of what's significant, what's important, what at the end of the day really, really matters to you. Ultimately, that's what every single message has brought through for you for the month of June. What is it that really, really, truly matters for me? How can I live a more peaceful life? What does living a peaceful existence mean for me? I hope you have a lovely June. And yeah, I'm sending you guys so much love and hugs from across the miles. This little Facebook community is growing bigger, and not Facebook, I'm sorry. This podcast community is growing bigger and bigger and bigger every day. And that makes me so excited. And I think in this moment, what I want to share with you is that sometimes things happen really quickly and overnight, and sometimes things take longer. But there's a momentum, what you put out into the world, when you put yourself out into the world in a way that's for the good, that's for good of someone else, or that might help someone else, that always comes back to you. It always does. And anytime I may get into my headspace of, does anybody care? Is anybody listening? I am, the universe immediately sends me someone. Like just this morning, somebody sent me an email. I just found your podcast. I've only listened to one, your most recent one. And I just have to tell you, I love how grounded you are. I love how you can take something that is very esoteric and can be lofty and highly misunderstood, and ground it for just like anybody to get and be able to understand. And I emailed the person back and I said, I have to tell you, you've made my whole day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so thank you for listening, to continue to listen, to continue to share. You mean so much to me, and I appreciate you so much. See you next week. If you have enjoyed this episode, please consider hopping on over to wherever you listen to your podcast and giving it a 5-star review. Thank you so much in advance. If you'd like to keep in touch, please head over to my website, theintuitiverising.com, to keep up with all the things that I have been doing. I also have a private Facebook community for people just like you. It's called the Intuitive Rising Community. All you got to do is request to join, and I will let you in. Keep rising.